Welcome to the Discount Property Investor Podcast, where we show you how to buy real estate at a discount so you can create wealth over time and income today. Our mission is to share what we have learned from the experience of others and help you make more money investing like a pro. We want to teach you how to create wealth by investing in real estate, the Discount Property Investor way. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. This is your host, David Dodge and Mike Slane. Don't forget to check out the discountpropertyinvestor.com if you're looking for properties in St. Louis, Missouri. And as always, the freewholesalecourse.com. If you are wanting to get started in real estate and learn how to invest in real estate with little to no money down, check out freewholesalecourse.com. We have put together a ton of content on there. We want to teach you how to start doing your first wholesale deal immediately. So today we have a special guest on our show. Her name is Heather Fraley. She's actually one of Mike and I's students. So she's one of the Discount Property Investor students. So we have Heather on the show, and Heather has been coaching with us, and Heather is closing her third deal tomorrow. Tomorrow. Awesome.
Congrats. That's awesome.
And Heather is kind of doing this, I wouldn't say full-time, right? I mean, you're doing this kind of part-time, wouldn't you say? Or
No, Dave, I jumped right in, so I'm doing it full-time.
No, that's good. That's good. But I'm just saying, like, whenever you first started with me, though, you weren't.
No.
That's what I was getting at.
I wasn't.
So now you're doing it full-time. But whenever we first started talking and I started coaching you, you were just kind of like, you didn't really know much about it. I was teaching you the business, and you were doing it part-time. But now, because of the recent successes that you've had, you're full-time.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So Heather has done 2 deals, and she's closing on her 3rd deal tomorrow. So congrats, Heather. You're doing awesome. Keep up the good work. So I want to ask you some questions about some of these previous deals, okay? So a lot of our listeners are new to real estate. They're new to wholesaling, and we want to teach them, how to get started and what to do. So let's start by talking about your first deal. Tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I actually, I've been a licensed real estate agent for a couple of years. So I've been constantly kind of funneling through the MLS and searching. Every single day I have a protocol to where I just search through motivated sellers. I set up the alert on my home page. So I would say it was about a month ago, I found a motivated seller. It was listed through the MLS. It was listed at about $98,000. And I ended up talking the seller, which happened to be an agent, down to $62,000. And
awesome.
That's how I essentially got my first deal. Yeah.
Okay. So you found that person on the MLS, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
And how did you know they were motivated?
To be quite honest, I didn't.
That's okay.
But, I always reach out to the different agents that are, to whoever's listing the property and try and, gauge the mechanics of the home, what work is needed. First and foremost, if they're willing to work with investors. And if so, I have to kind of tread lightly because of, compliance. I am an agent, so I have to be very careful. But I do try and gauge the personal situation of the seller. And I had known as an agent, you can review and see the property history. So I had known that the property was originally purchased like a couple of years ago at $39,000. And so whoever bought it had to put some work into it. But I knew that their margin was going to be pretty big,
Sure. Absolutely. Okay. Good deal. So you reached out to the agent that was representing them because it was on the MLS. And how did it go? Mm-hmm. What was the next step in the process that you took to, present the offer to them?
Yeah. So again, the agent was a seller. So he was making all the decisions himself.
Oh, the agent was the seller.
The agent was the seller.
Okay.
Yeah. So it made it really easy to at least, have decisions and have answers answered quickly. But I had after he said, yes, I'm willing to work with investors, I ran some comps on it. I went and saw the property. and basically just said, hey, look, I can offer you 55. I started pretty low.
Got to start
And
low.
yeah, always. And then I started circling back. He of course declined it, but then he had reached out, like sent another email to me. I could just kind of sense that he was. It wasn't like an absolute no. Like a lot of people, when you speak to them and you put the offer together that you do, they're normally like, ha, yeah, right, click, or no way. And this guy was like, no, I just can't do that. And I could sense that he was semi interested.
He was
And then
motivated. He just didn't like your offer.
that's right.
Okay. So then what happened
So
next?
then I followed up probably like a week later, and he was like, no, I haven't had any traction on it, just kind of getting an update from him. And then we ended up discussing the price again, and I said, well, look, what are you willing, or what's kind of your wiggle room? And I always like to explain the numbers and where I'm coming from with it. And then just, I think probably after like 2 weeks of back and forth, he finally agreed to, I think it was 62,000. And it was originally, again, listed for like 99.
99 to 62. That's 62% almost. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So then you got the property under contract. What happened next?
Got the property under contract. For the past few months, since you and I have been working together, Dave, I've made ghost postings and really built my buyer list up. And in that duration, I kind of took the time to learn my buyers, exactly what their investment strategy is. I would say I have a list of like 200 in the course of 5 months.
That's a great list.
But, there's maybe 10 that I know in and out,
Of course.
And kind of what they're, yeah. So I put together a marketing flyer and marketed this particular property out to my investors that were interested in that area. Had someone out there the day after, and then literally a contract on it that same day.
Awesome.
So your first deal, you had a contract on it within what?
Within 48 hours.
Within 48 hours. Awesome. And then how long did it take to close?
Oh, these guys, it took them 7 days. They're I think one of my top buyers, to my knowledge thus far. They're good. They pay cash and they close really, really quick.
So 7 days later, you closed and you got paid.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
5 G's.
$5,000. That is the first deal. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. Mike, do you have any other questions about that particular deal?
No, I think she covered it well. I would say,
well.
Yeah, congratulations. It's
Cool.
very exciting.
Now she's done another deal since then as well. She is having one close tomorrow, so she's going to get paid again tomorrow. But she had another deal. So let's kind of talk about that other deal that you had done. Give us a little bit of detail about that. Was that also a lead that you had found off the MLS?
No.
Okay.
This was a lead through I had posted something. I can't recall if it was either a property that I had under contract or a ghost posting, but I had someone reach out to me that was basically working with this real estate agent that had a motivated seller. So there was 2 points of contact. He had this property, which was it's in Shawnee Mission, which is in Johnson County, here in Kansas City, which is one of the top areas. But it was basically a home for recovering addicts. Dave, I know you're familiar with this one. Anyhow, I ended up locking that property under contract for $155. The ARV was about $200, $215. And then as soon as I closed on it and found a buyer for it, the actual seller ended up filing for bankruptcy.
I remember this one.
So,
that's right.
Yeah.
I remember you called me
Yeah.
and you were all mad. You're like, my second deal, it's falling apart, Dave. What do I do? And I just said, stay consistent. Just because they're filing bankruptcy doesn't mean you can't buy this property. Maybe you can't buy it tomorrow, but stay persistent. Don't let it fall through the cracks. And you did it and you closed it. So I'm super proud of you. Good work.
Thank you.
So let's continue.
Yeah.
So they filed bankruptcy. Then what happened? I mean, the process slowed down dramatically, right?
Dramatically, like a couple months, in fact. So it took a while, but because the courts had to go through their own system. Basically, they had to do their due diligence, and they had an attorney involved. But at the end of the day, I ended up, which was interesting on this deal because I got this property under contract for 155. I found a buyer for it probably 3 days later. That was a cash buyer offering 163. Well, the next day, which is interesting, and this is like to the listeners out there, the next day, and this is a testament to your ethics, right? I get another buyer that is actually a buddy of mine that lives in San Francisco. He offered he offered 168 or something.
So more.
But I couldn't, obviously I had already agreed to this individual. So
but at the end of the day, you closed your second deal on that one. You had to wait a little bit, but you were persistent. You didn't give up. And how much you make on that deal?
Well, that ended up being $5,000 because I had to pay that partner that referred it to me, and then closing costs. So it was a profit of $5,000.
So you ended up netting $5,000. I love it. And then you have a third deal closing tomorrow. Congrats, by the way. You are absolutely killing it. And what I love about coaching you is that it started off a little slow. Most people do. But now that you have done a couple deals and you're confident and you know how to do these deals, you've hit the ground running. So since you did your first deal, you've done 2 more deals within a matter of weeks. And I wouldn't be surprised that over the next couple of weeks, you'll be doing a deal a week. You just got to keep that marketing going, so.
And that's the thing, Dave, and it's interesting because with my story and my situation, my deals haven't come from marketing, but I know and I listen to everything that you say, that's the best return, right? Is putting your money into marketing and getting the deals. But interestingly enough, my 2 have not come from the marketing that I've spent. So it's interesting, but, I still am going to, with this deal closing tomorrow, reinvest that in marketing. And
I love it. But that's a great point, though, for our listeners, Heather, is that you don't have to have a ton of money to start in this business. If you don't have, $1,500, $2,000, whatever the case is, to go do a letter campaign or a postcard campaign or go even hang bandit signs, whatever the case is, you can still do deals by finding them online, which was what you did for both of yours. It sounds to me like your first one was an MLS offer that you made, and the second one was from like a ghost Craigslist post, right?
That's right, yeah.
So you don't need a budget to do deals. However, if you have a budget, you're going to do a lot more deals.
So for the listeners who may not know, Heather, what you keep referring to it as a ghost Craigslist post. What do you mean by that?
Ghost meaning that I just post basically a property, maybe 1 picture, 2 pictures of a property, and then basically just discount it, right? Like 20 to 30% in good areas, or, not in war zones here in Kansas City, but in good areas. Put a little bit about the property, motivated, needs work, and then, just load that price, and then you get quite a few buyers, and then you leverage that. You have a conversation with them and really gauge kind of, what their investment strategy is and what their, financing tools are and things like that.
Great. Yeah, that's a great tip, a great way to start building that buyer's list when you don't necessarily have the properties out there yet. So
that's what I did when I first started too. And whenever people would call and they would say, I want to buy this deal, I'd say, oh, I sold that deal already. I sold it a couple days ago. I need to pull that ad down. Thanks for reminding me. But since I got you on the phone, it sounds to me like you're interested in some property. You looking for some more deals? I come across them all the time. Let me get your name, number, and email, and when I get them, I'll send them over to you. And that's what you did, and she did a deal on it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dave. You've been instrumental, and Mike, you guys have just been instrumental in helping me. So I appreciate it. I wouldn't be, where I was if it weren't for you. Like, honestly.
Cool. Well, we appreciate it. We're happy that you've been successful, and we want to help you keep growing and doing more deals. And you're doing this full time now, so there's no reason that you can't be doing a deal a week. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're going to notice too, as your confidence has built, which I have seen it build over the last several weeks. Really, the most of it's over the last several weeks. But after you start doing these deals and you understand this business, it's really pretty simple. The business isn't that difficult. It can be hard, but at the same time, the business is very simple. You find a motivated seller, make an offer on the property, you get it under contract, You market the property out to your buyers. You find a buyer. You get paid. I mean, that is like the nuts and bolts of the business. There's really not that much to it. So, well, Heather, we love having you on the show. We love hearing about your success. We are, a company that does 20 wholesale deals locally here in St. Louis, Missouri. So we know what we are doing. We would encourage you to go to the discountpropertyinvestor.com to check out some of the deals that we have on our site currently. If you are new to wholesaling like Heather, check out freewholesalecourse.com. And if you're interested in becoming one of our coaching students, we'd love to coach you. There's also information about coaching at freewholesalecourse.com. And we really just want to encourage anybody and everybody that's listening, to take action. Like Heather, you can do deals without a ton of money and or investing a ton of money into marketing. However, if you have a marketing budget, you will see your amount of leads, your amount of deals, your amount of profits, escalate dramatically based upon having that budget,
Absolutely. Heather, before we wrap up, let's go ahead and I want to ask you, we usually try to end each episode with an action item, something for somebody who's new to real estate. What should they do? So I guess that's my question to you is, what would you recommend to someone who has never done a deal to do to get started investing in real estate?
Oh, I mean, an action item is just honestly like find a mentor such as you guys or someone else, someone that's doing deals, and someone that can break it down in layman's terms, because there's fear, right? All of our decisions in this world are motivated by fear. So having someone that can, until I had the confidence myself, I had someone that I had to lean on. So I encourage someone to find someone that's currently doing deals in your market, and just get a mentor, because that'll just propel you and catapult you to taking action, Yeah, that's what I would say is the most important.
Well, that's awesome. That's
a great
awesome.
Answer. Yeah, absolutely.
So is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up the show then?
Congrats, by the way.
Just,
2 deals down, one tomorrow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, I appreciate it, guys. Just reiterate, to everyone, just take action, do something. It's better than doing nothing, and failure is you're going to fail, but you're going to get back up and be resilient. And once you get that first paycheck, you're golden. Just make that first deal happen.
Consistent, persistent action. It's one of my favorite sayings of all time. I'm going to say it again. Consistent, persistent action. That is the key to success in any business, folks. There is no secret. Yep. That is it. Consistent, persistent action.
That ties in with our closing quote, I believe. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you are done.
I love it. Heather, thanks for coming on the show today. You have an awesome success story, and we love having you as a student. So keep up the good work, and I'm looking forward to seeing you do more and more deals and make more and more money.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. We would also appreciate it if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thanks in advance for your support. And remember, you make your money when you buy and get paid when you sell. Now let's go build some wealth.